Hello everyone, today I decided I would review Paul McCartney's McCartney album track by track. So track 1 is The Lovely Linda, seems to be about his wife Linda McCartney. I thought it was cute, nice guitar and vocals. It's a really short intro to open up the album. Track 2 is That Would Be Something. Meh, it doesn't really go anywhere lyrically for me. This is kind of a skip for me on the album, or something I kind of just like let play in the background and don't really pay a whole lot of attention to. Track 3 is Valentine's Day, so this is the first instrumental record on the album, no vocals at all, but I think it's cool overall just what he did with it, and I really enjoy listening to it still. Track 4 on the album is Every Night. This is definitely one of my favorite songs, and so basically on this one he was kind of just talking about the depression after the Beatles and stuff, and he said that he kind of like drank a lot and stuff, but his wife Linda really helped him through that, and he has a few songs on this record kind of dedicated to her, and that's what he's saying. Every night I just want to go out, get out of my head. Every day I don't want to get up, get out of my bed. Every night I want to play out, and every day I want to do. Tonight I just want to stay in and be with you. So I think that is cute with that. So I like the lyrics on the song. I think that the guitar part on here is super cool, and great vocals from him as always. Track 5 is Hot as Sun / Glasses. So this is another instrumental. I think it's decent overall. Track 6 is Junk, and this is definitely one of my favorites. I really like the lyrics on the song, and so this is one of the ones that he wrote in the Beatles, and I think that they have some of the demos of it on like Anthology 1 or 2, something like that, but I'm glad that he kept them for himself, because there's kind of a melancholy about the song that I like. I thought the instrumentation was super interesting, great vocals, and just a really interesting record overall. Track number 7 is Man We Was Lonely. I think that this is all right overall. I like the instrumentation. I like some of the lyrics, especially this part whenever he says, I used to ride on my fast city line singing songs that I thought were mine, alone, alone, alone. Now let me lie with my love for the first time. I am home. Home. I really liked that part of it, but lyrically for the most part I feel like it's kind of monotonous. Basically about the song, he said, chorus, Man We Was Lonely was written in bed at home shortly before we finished recording the album. The middle I used to ride was done one lunchtime in a great hurry as we were to record the song that afternoon. Linda sings harmony on the song, which is our first duet together. Steel guitar sound is my Telecaster played with a drum peg, and also he did all the instrumentation on this album himself, by the way. And We Was Lonely's countryish, like from a couple of hicks. It's nice when little words come out, and we was hard pressed to find a smell. I like that line. It's a hokey thing. I think I'm remembering it wasn't that easy when I left the Beatles. Man, We Was Lonely. I think it was a little bit of a reflection of those times. My biggest problem was I had to sue the Beatles. I tried to sue Apple Group business manager Alan Klein, but he wasn't a party to any of the agreements. So I ended up having to sue my best friends as a technical matter. It was the last thing in the world I wanted to do, but it was pointed out to me that it was the only way to do it. I knew I had to get out of the Beatles, and I knew I would apologize to them, and I knew once I got out, they get out. So if I got out of prison, I'd free them. It was a very difficult call. I went through a lot of tough times emotionally, so something like Man We Was Lonely reflects that. So it's just interesting that with this song overall, you would think like, oh, it's a pretty simple song, but then like learning more about how it was about the Beatles splitting up and the lawsuits and all that, it was a very tumultuous time and stuff, and especially after Paul went solo, he got a lot of hate, and a lot of people were basically blaming the breakup on him and everything, which was just very unfair, and like I mentioned, he kind of went into a depression, so he's definitely talking about this on the album, and he's talked about it in interviews and stuff. Track 8 is Ooh You. I think it has great vocals to it, decent instrumentation overall, kind of underrated on this album. Track 9 is Mama Miss America. So this is another instrumental record on this album, and definitely my favorite one of the instrumentals. I think it's super cool overall, and I really wonder what it would have been if he would have put some lyrics to it, but maybe he felt like he couldn't, but I'm just glad that we have it. And he says that it's an instrumental recorded completely at home, made up as I went along. First a sequence of chords, then a melody on top, piano, drums, acoustic guitar, electric guitar. Originally it was 2 pieces, but they ran into each other by accident and became one. So that's really super interesting to me. And then Stevie Wonder has a song, Jesus Children of America, that this one kind of reminds me of, maybe because they were both like in the same decade, but super cool nonetheless. Track 10 is Teddy Boy. This is another one of my favorites. I especially love the guitar parts on here. One thing about Paul McCartney, he's really great with instrumentals as well as melodies, and so I just really like the lyrics on this song. I liked Linda's harmonies, just like all those little touches to it. So another underrated Paul McCartney gem as far as I'm concerned. I think that they have a demo for this for the Beatles, but I'm glad they kept it for himself. Track 11 is Sing Along Junk. So it's basically Junk just without the lyrics and stuff like that, maybe another change or two. I just kind of unnecessary on this album. We already had Junk, so don't really need it overall. Track 12 is Maybe I'm Amazed. So another song that he wrote for his wife Linda, and just about her part in helping him with the depression of the Beatles and stuff that I was kind of talking about earlier, but an amazing love song nonetheless. I mean, in the lyrics he says, maybe I'm amazed at the way you love me all the time, and maybe I'm afraid of the way I love you. Maybe I'm amazed at the way you pulled me out of time. You hung me on a line. Maybe Maybe I'm amazed at the way I really need you. Maybe I'm a man, maybe I'm a lonely man who's in the middle of something that he doesn't really understand. Maybe I'm a man and maybe you're the only woman who could ever help me. Baby, won't you help me to understand? So yeah, just chills. And the vocals on here are definitely one of his best vocal recordings ever. Just so powerful. Love the piano, love the instrumentation, the progression of the song. Just really powerful and beautiful song to listen to. He ate that. Track 13 is Kreen Akore. This is mostly an instrumental track. It wasn't really needed on the album in my opinion. So in terms of my absolute favorites on this album, Every Night, I think it's just an incredible record. Junk is a great record, and then also definitely have to give it to Mama Miss America and Teddy Boy. Maybe I'm Amazed, I think is also a great record as well, but you know, those I would say are my absolute favorites. My overall thoughts on this album, I think that this is a good album for Paul McCartney to start with. Like I said, he did like all the instrumentation on this himself. He wrote all the songs and stuff like that. Linda had some harmonies, but everything else he did himself, and I'm pretty sure he recorded this at his house. So it kind of has like that lo-fi feel about it. It's relaxing to listen to. I enjoy it. It was definitely not what the critics and the general public expected for Paul McCartney to do whenever he was releasing a solo album. And so, yeah, got a lot of negative reviews and stuff like that. Even his second album, Ram, got a lot of negative reviews. People retrospectively went back to the album and were like, no, this was a classic. We were just doing too much because it wasn't what we expected and because we hate Paul McCartney. But I mean, I think for doing this all himself at home, it still sounds pretty good. I think it's decent for what it is. You know, I think that he's made better albums since this. It's not half bad. It's not half bad. I like the album. I think that we got some gems on here for sure. And it's just Paul McCartney making a bunch of great records on here. So Paul McCartney's always going to have some hidden gems and stuff like that. And I just like how I feel when I listen to this album. So I think that it's good for what it is overall. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments on this album particularly. Do we love it? Do we hate it? And kind of just give me your thoughts overall on there. And so this was a fun video to do. I was looking at my notes and I had stuff written down about this album. I was like, let me re-listen to the album, retool it, and actually do this review this week because why not? And Paul McCartney is one of my favorite artists. I've said that a billion times, but just love his knack for melody, him as a singer, him as a songwriter, and I feel like he deserves all the praise that he gets. Definitely the best Beatle by far. And so I did do a video on Ram. It was my Revisit With Me series where I re-listened to the album with you guys just for fun. I give some facts about the album. I give my overall thoughts on the album, and it's just a lot of fun. And I've done a bunch of other videos on Paul McCartney. Like I gave my favorite songs across his entire career and stuff like that. So all the videos that I've done on him, I will link down below in the description and also at the end of this video. But I definitely want to do more Paul McCartney stuff in the future. I would love to do a video on Band on the Run, London Town, Back to the Egg, stuff like that. So I want to do some more Paul McCartney videos because I love him, always have a special place in my heart. And so yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments on this video though. It's gonna be it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a like below. It helps me out a lot into the algorithm. I very much appreciate it. You can subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. If you hit the bell, I get notification for when I post so you're not missing brand new videos come out. Every week I'm posting an album review or album reaction, so subscribe for more. And so first link down below in the description will be my second channel. So on there, I'm talking about the music industry and just current topics. So I recently gave you guys my honest review of the 2024 VMAs. I gave you my favorite performances, who do it I think deserve to win those awards, who actually won. I talked about my thoughts on that. I do some videos on the NFL sometimes, so I gave my review of week 1, the games that I watched. I gave you guys my picks for week 2 in a separate video, and I also did an album battle for Harry Styles. I said who was the better artist between Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. I talked about why Kendrick Lamar performing at the Super Bowl was basically a slam dunk and my thoughts on the discourse. And I also do some stuff on dance songs, which is one of my favorite shows. And yeah, so I post every single day on that channel. I have not missed a video this year, and I'm planning to keep that up throughout this year. So if you want to see more of me, you want to see shorter form content, subscribe to the second channel. It'll be the first link below. Also gonna have social media, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, Airbuds, if you'd like to follow me over on those platforms. Free Palestine, this is something that we must educate ourselves on. If you wanted to learn more about the cause or donate, I have links down below specifically for that. And lastly, make sure you're registered to vote. I'll be voting for Kamala in November. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.